I have a new mobile microphone I'm pretty excited about, man.
That's what I'm saying. You're going to get up and kind of walk around, so you can kind of walk around and style with it a little bit?
I'm pacing today. Yeah. That's what I'm going to do. Well, thanks so much. Hi, Lori. How are you? Good to see you again. We got some awesome questions pre-submitted. Hey, I hope you all are enjoying that. We've got some great questions. Got a great timeline. We've got Sandy Hills and Rath, behind the scenes producer of the episode, making all the magic happen for us and making sure we stay on the rails, so to speak. Jason Ledlow, Trevor Nelson. We're HGA Fundraising. If you haven't met us before, we provide the most profitable auction items in fundraising, and you're on the HGA webinar series. Should know the number. Like I said, it's probably around 240 weeks, 240 episodes of the HGA webinar series. But hey, we have the brightest minds in fundraising.
5 years of the fastest fundraising coming at you right here. Yeah.
5 years of the fastest fun-loving fundraising guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. And gals. Yeah. Really, really fun. Thanks everybody for coming. Appreciate you. Jason and I were giggling on the way in. I was on the way in the office and I was calling him, going, it's just, we have done so much of this over the last handful of years, and hey, you can get a lot done in 5 years. But, hey, everybody, thanks so much for coming. We're talking about year-end fundraising. This is going to be a really cool Ask Us Anything episode as well. We've got some pre-submitted questions. I love that. I hope everyone's enjoying that feature when you register for the webinar. Getting the questions in has been fantastic. It also gives us some really cool insights on future episodes, as a matter of fact. And one of the questions, year-end stuff, is what kind of was the impetus for this conversation. Mm-hmm. We're gonna talk about year-end fundraiser. We're gonna talk about why folks have such a strong proclivity to give. How Jason took me to school one time talking to me about why folks give at the end of the year and how simple the answer is. And we'll get into that as well. And we want to address any challenges or any thoughts or anything about your year-end fundraising goals, campaigns, and then also how that's going to segue into 2026 as well. Yeah, I'll go ahead and get us started with a poll question. Sandy popped one up. Are you running a year-end campaign?
I like poll questions.
The poll questions are cool. We're going to have a few of them that Sandy, once again, producer, is going to be dropping throughout the episode. And then, and then she's going to put some questions in the chat. Oh, a reminder, put any question you might have, if you haven't submitted it or not, in the chat. We'll get to it and stay to the end and win. We're going to give away a new layer and a new awesome value add, actually, with our giveaways that we're going to be doing. That we've been doing every single week, giving away an HGA auction item that you can use at your next fundraising event. But we'll explain more about that and call a winner live like we do every week. You want me to get right to it?
Let's go.
So, year-end giving, we've talked about this a lot. Obviously, we talk about it every year. Why obviously it's so critical. We have a stat, nearly 30% of all annual giving happens in December. And you and I talked about one time, like I said, famously, you're like, well, why do folks give so much at the end of the year?
Well, I think what's the statistic? 10%? 10% of all giving happens in December?
10%
of all charitable giving?
Of all annual giving happens in the last 10 days.
Yeah, last 10 days. That's right.
And one time you asked me why.
I said, why is that happening?
And I knew it wasn't because of the tax benefit.
Yeah.
But it was very, very simple. Why does it happen?
It's because they're asked.
And there's a right and a wrong way to go about that.
Well, we talk about this kind of stuff a lot. That's why we're having this deal, because we are in November. We're coming up there. It's real interesting. The poll shows up there, and 50-50. It's 50% no. Now, I voted on it so I could see the poll, and I voted no because I'm not a nonprofit. But my point is, when you see that half the people aren't going to do it, not going to ask. One thing is, we're in a really strange place. We're in a strange place in time between generations. I was having this conversation with somebody that, we look at the baby boom generation, and that generation, the top and the ones older, their giving is very much different than, let's say, my children. Okay. My youngest being 23 or 22. He's 23, 22. I can't even remember now. Something like that. I'm old. So, and my oldest is 34. So they give in a different way than what my parents did, than what I do, everybody's a little bit different. And so one of the things that there was a study done a couple of years ago, a friend of mine did in London. It was in England. And so their giving trends are very similar to the United States. We've done a lot of studies on it. And one of the things they talked about was the way this year-end campaign works and why it's important to do and how to go about it. And, you know, this was a lot of it was tied to year-end these appeals. Why do people keep doing it? I mean, I get a stack like this in the mail every year from people. And why do they keep doing it? Because it works. And the reason it works is because there are people that want to see, they do tie giving to year end because there is a tax benefit to it. So they want to make sure they get their giving in because they have people that give plan giving, that they do certain things. And they're being asked. This is why it's so important, because if you're not asking, if thou dost not ask, thou shalt not receive. And what we want to do, that's the whole purpose of this, is to encourage people that maybe aren't doing it. Why aren't you doing it? And then here's some ways that you can do it and create this. Now, it's expensive, you know, putting together a letter, putting together all this information and sending it out is very expensive. You know, an envelope in there and a little form and all the things that go with it. But they do it because the return on it is significant. Now, I'm not suggesting you run out right now and write a letter and send it out, but there's a reason that it's done. The other part is
talk. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, but well, I just want to. I'm going to come back. I just want to finish this one thought. And the other thing is, this is the way that you can do a recap and tell people what you've done. That is probably the most important thing that happens with a year-end campaign, because you're saying, you know, this past year we sent 150 kids to camp. We put out 300 tons of food. We fed this, we did this, whatever it may be. We provided, we had 500 people get to listen to music that never would have got to hear it because we have this orchestra that we put on these concerts. All the things that you do, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. But the people, they want to hear. And when they hear about what you've done, and then there's an opportunity to invest for the next year, they want to do it. Because they see that, because they see this is, what we've got going on and why we want to give. So I kind of went off on a tangent, but I didn't.
No, it's great.
That was the point.
It's great.
This is important. Yeah.
It is important. It's going to allow me to do two things. It's going to allow me to ask folks, if you're not planning a year-end campaign, why? Just get in the chat, and then Jay and I can address that, and we can talk about it. Any trepidation you might have, and maybe just give you a nudge and some encouragement. We can just talk about it and just riff on that. And then the thing is, it's going to segue nicely into, I want to hear your thoughts about Giving Tuesday. And then we can get into segmentation and the messaging. And it's, like I said, it's segued perfectly because you talk about, we can highlight the work that you've done. But give us your thoughts on folks' approach to Giving Tuesday. I have my own thoughts as well, but let's just pull the rabbit out of the hat.
Can I just say, what I think about and I kind of have waffled back and forth for the past 10 years.
It's frothy.
Giving Tuesday. I just kind of flip-flop back and forth on it. I've gone from being, this is a really great thing, to being, why does it have to be Giving Tuesday? Why do we feel like we've got to do something on this day? Why don't we do something on another day? It's crowded. Everybody's doing it. Everybody's doing it. I mean, so I go back and go, well, there's so much attention to it. How can you not do something on that day? How can you not do something on Giving Tuesday?
Yes.
So it's kind of like, it's the same thing. How can you not do a year-end campaign? Because I got a question. This is a poll question. Y'all can, maybe you can throw this. Oh, how long is your year-end campaign? That's a great question.
Yeah. Yeah.
Sandy, can you whip another poll up real quick and to say that, is fundraising easier now, or is it harder than it was 5 years ago? Or let's say 2 years ago?
Yeah.
I want to see what the trend is, what people are thinking.
Yeah. Well, I have my own opinion about that too, right? Even though the question's not for me, but what you said about Giving Tuesday is kind of the same trajectory that I've had with it, right? Or relationship with it. And it's not, it's a living, breathing thing at this point. It's a real entity. And like you said, there's so much attention on it. Why not? The caveat being there's so much attention and fundraising, and like for instance, you and I talk about marketing a lot. It's not getting easier because you have to do more and you have to be thoughtful. And I think that it's another avenue to utilize, because in so many ways, it's becoming fundraising is an and game, not an or game. We don't do a
Great
Giving
call.
Tuesday campaign, but we do an or because we do a year-end campaign. No, you can do both.
Mhm.
And you need to be open-minded to doing both, right? So that's the interesting part about that. And then therein lies the rub, so to speak, where it's like, okay, you have to, sharpen your pencil and be more thoughtful. And we say, simple things like, well, differentiation is stronger than competition. So how are you going to separate yourself from other organizations doing the exact same thing on Giving Tuesday? So just some thoughts there. You want me to hit you with some of these chat questions, brother?
Please.
All right, cool. Lori, awesome. Good to hear from you. Hi to you. We send out a mass mailing before Thanksgiving. We attend a community giving day where local nonprofits can have a table, booth, and talk to community members. I think that's awesome. I think anytime you can network and get out into the community, I think that's fantastic. Any thoughts on that, Jay?
Well, I do. I'll tell you one thing that I think is always interesting. When nonprofits tend to think of their donors, that's my donor. Well, Trevor, why are you talking to my donor? That's my donor. It's not your donor. It's my donor. Well, and I heard this said the other day, and this was such a great quote. And it said, we tend to think of this as our donor. Actually, it's the other way around. We just happen to be one of their charities.
Great framework.
People that are philanthropic, typically, and I don't have a concrete number, so I can't say, well, it's 3 to 5. I don't
reason
know what
suggests they give them multiple.
Well, no, we do know, anecdotally, that people that are philanthropic that give money give it to more than one organization. They just do.
Yep.
You're not their own. People that are writing you a check. They're not the only one they're writing a check to. It's just maybe 10% of their just sole donation is going to that one organization, but it's rare. Now they may have a lane that they stay in. Maybe there is on food security. Okay. And they may have 4 different places that they like to do, food banks that they like to support. Maybe it's on education and there's something, there's 3 or 4 things that they do within that. Maybe it's, something to do with children, adults, maybe it's in the arts. I mean, that's all these things. But and the reason I know this anecdotally, because, well, we all know, you go to 5 different galas, you see 25% of the people there have been at all 5 galas in any one city. I mean, that's just kind of the way it is. You see the same faces over and over and over again. And so we know that they're out there supporting, giving, doing. And so you just happen to be one of their charities. And so I think that is
I love it, Lori. I love that. And I mentioned I was just on a webinar yesterday and we were talking about community events, and it was just like, once again, just some 30,000 foot view. But you can even there's not a lot of M&A or, like mergers and acquisitions going on in the nonprofit world. I don't know why, and then there's not a lot of collaborative things like this, like these community events where multiple nonprofits can get together. Hey, a couple nonprofits, like one that's, trying to end the reading and dyslexia crisis, and another one that's, filling up libraries with books. You could do a collaborative, event, community event, and expose folks. People are going to have a heart for all the, the both of those missions, right? Because of the obvious connection. So things like that are just.
Well, there's a scarcity mindset. We all start tending to be a scarcity mindset, thinking there's not enough money out there.
Yep. And absolutely. And
that becomes the issue. It's like, well, that's my donor. Why are you talking to him? I was in an event and the executive director said this to me. He said, why is she talking to him? I said, well, because she runs a foundation that's in the same thing that you do. And doesn't she write you a check every year? Doesn't their foundation write you a check? She goes, yeah, they write us a big one. And she goes, oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
I said, you don't think that lady gives to both? And I happen to know that she was writing checks to both the foundation and to this nonprofit.
Yep.
And so I think that's where we start, as professional fundraisers, we're really kind of locked into the view that's in front of us. It's like you're in a car, you're driving, and this is where your focus is right in front of you. You don't have a lot of time for peripheral because this stuff's hard. We could do a couple of poll questions. How many people have plenty of help? How many people have a surplus of money? How many people you're running out of people to serve? I mean, all those things is not true. There's never enough time, money, people to serve the need. The more need there is. It's because you expand your mission. They're able to do things. And so that happens. And so while you're running your nonprofit, spending half your time trying to raise money, and the other time providing, the valuable services that we do, that nonprofits do to society, this becomes a real thing. How can I start getting my peripheral vision to open up to see what opportunities are out there?
Absolutely. We had a really great pre-submitted question that Sandy popped up in the chat that we're going to get to about that same thing, about running a lean crew. Steve, thank you very much for sharing. And I love this because, of course, you can do it anytime you like. It doesn't just have to be year end, but having a deliberate plan. As a Catholic school, we do Thankful Tuesday and flood socials with the Y, then do our own day of giving during Catholic Schools Week in late January. Fantastic. My daughter's Catholic school as a fundraiser will be attending. I'm pouring champagne on Saturday for all the attendees, so I get to be the greeter. Thanks for sharing, Steve. I love that. Once again, and it gives folks a placeholder on their calendar of what to expect as well. And I love that you're flooding socials with that. Kristen, good to see you again, as always. Thanks so much for coming. Jay, Kristen, previously I just put on an event once a year for the national nonprofit we were working under, but just this week, Bailey's Beat the Bite officially became our own nonprofit. Well, congratulations. Fantastic.
Yeah.
End of year fundraising will definitely be on the agenda for next year. Okay, cool. Awesome.
Anything I'm going to ask a question. Why not this year?
Please. Yeah, I was going
to. Why not this year?
You were going to do that. Yeah. And it's a fair question. And then as well, Kristen, you can dive into that deeper with Jason on a coaching call as well off air. We could talk about that. I love the question, Jay.
It's just a simple thing. And I know everybody's going to say, well, I just don't have time. I always hear this and I know that's the thing, but
and I get it.
And we get it. Yeah, we do. I mean, and this is not trying to put weight on you, but I do wonder, is there some other reason or something else going on?
Yeah. Cool. Let's talk about it. Laura. Hey, Laura, good to see you. How's the family at Bishop O'Connell doing? Good to see you. We kick off our year-end giving on Giving Tuesday, cross-programming. Love it.
Yep.
Awesome. I don't see why not. And I'm going to start getting to some pre-submitted questions as well. From Laura P., when is the ideal time to start your end-of-year appeal campaign? Is there any data on campaigns that start before or after Giving Tuesday, raising or not raising more money? Great question, actually.
I don't have any. I can tell you now, I'm not aware of any data that's specific to saying, well, if you start it before Giving Tuesday, that you raise more money, because there's so many variables that happen within that time.
Sure. Give an example.
Well, okay, we're going to do an email campaign. We're going to do a social media campaign. We're going to do a dial-a-thon, where we're making outreach. We're going to, all these different, what are you doing? What's the effort? How many people are doing it? I don't know. There's so many variables to say, because let's just say that you're doing a campaign for a week. Okay. You're going to do 1 week of messages, 7 days. And let's just say that we're going to do it for 7 days.
Mm-hmm.
And just because you start it before or after, that may not mean anything. Are you doing it because, some people start their year-end campaign at the end of Q3, in third quarter. So they're literally starting it, right after the half part of the year, because they want to make sure that they get on the radar of the people that they want to donate, different groups, to be on their list.
Yeah. What do you think about this? It's very interesting, because it's like, why not prepare folks to understand what's coming, right? Sounds simple, right? In theory.
It's like save the date. It's kind of like doing a save the date.
I love
Our gala is
that.
going to be on, March 15th.
Yes.
And this is save the date. Well, we're starting our year-end campaign on Giving Tuesday, save the date. We're starting our campaign on, we're prepping, we're getting ready for our year-end campaign. Hope you're going to be a part of it. We're really excited about everything we've been doing this year. This is that's what I mean. We had
a friend come on and say, Trisha Brower came on and said something really, really poignant, because we're such big believers in preparing folks for events with what you're going to have at the event, and no surprises, unless it's like just some, oh my gosh, this is like an amazing what we've done surprise. But with regard to our items, for instance, we want folks to know what's going to be at the event. And she said a prepared bidder is a higher bidder. I just thought of just now, it's like, well, a prepared giver is a higher giver, right? If they just know, like you said, save the date. So I think that's kind of fun. Okay, cool. Love that. Hope that helps. Laura P. And from Christy, this is a good one, Jay. This is kind of back to what you're talking about being short-staffed. With only a skeleton staff volunteers, how is the most efficient way to organize fundraising when there's no designated marketing or fundraising staff? We are 2 teachers and a board member. My wife's an educator. She's at school right now. We are 2 teachers and a board member who also works full-time, and we are trying to prioritize our daily jobs with fundraising efforts. I'm going to go ahead and say, Christy, sign up for a coaching session with Jason, first and foremost. That's not the answer. Jason, please address Christy's question, sir.
Well, how do I prioritize my time? Well, that's not something that I could sit here and say, well, okay, here's exactly what you're going to go do, A, B, C, D, E. One is recruiting more help. I think this is really interesting but you got to be real specific when you do that. And you say, what does this mean? Hey, I need a volunteer to stuff envelopes. I've written the letter. I'm going to sign them all, but I need somebody who's going to help us address them, put a stamp on it and put it in the mail. We're going to do a social media campaign. And what I'm asking, could you help us? I need a volunteer, somebody can come help me post this stuff. All these things happen. Technology is a wonderful thing about leveraging time. It's real interesting to me. Somebody goes, well, I don't have time to do this. I'm going to give an example of it. So, and Trevor's heard this story 1,000 times. So there was a lady, she was a nun actually, and they needed to raise some money for a elevator. Yep. Sister Bridget. And she needed to do this. And I said, you need to get on the phone. Most powerful fundraising tools right here. Get on the phone, start calling. She goes, I don't have time. I said, you don't have time to make 3 phone calls? She goes, okay, tell me more. I said, okay, could you make 3 phone calls a day? She goes, I could. Sure. I said, could you do it before noon? Yeah, I could. Now she's running a school, mind you. Okay. Bunch of kids. They got a whole, and I said, well, could you do that for 3 weeks? She goes, yeah, I could. It's just 15 days. And I think she went more than 15. I think she did it for 30 days actually. But by the end of the time, she raised $150,000 to put an elevator in. 3 calls a day. That's it. Not 30 calls a day. And so whenever I think about this with time, because like you said, we've got you got a board member and we're a couple of teachers. Obviously you've got stuff. This is how you can do things. And the other thing that I recommend to people, especially if you're in fundraising, especially if you're a volunteer, you got some other thing, is time blocking. If nobody's using this, one of these days we're going to have somebody come on and talk about it. But time blocking, and it's where I count for all my time. In 30-minute blocks is what I recommend, because I know exactly what I'm going to be doing. Now, if something comes up and I've got to go, I'm teaching and all of a sudden I got to cover recess for somebody else, or I've got to cover a class or something, we get that. But there's going to be another time somewhere along the day that you're going to be able to make those 3 phone calls.
I think you just uncovered a future episode.
Yeah.
The time blocking, that literally saved our first employee, my sister. That saved her professional life and sanity when you did the time blocking exercise with her years ago. And you've done it with
changed everything.
So many members of our team. Another nudge, of course, to do a coaching session. Christy, thank you so much for sharing. It's good to see
Christy,
you again.
I hope that helps. You said recruiting what happens is we go, I don't have time. I don't have time.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, everybody has some time. And the prioritization is to find out, okay, what is going to have the largest impact? Because if I can't do everything,
big rocks.
Okay, what happens is we don't do anything, and we have to do something. Okay, and that's where it starts. I hope that, and I mean that very respectfully, because I know Trevor's married to a teacher, so he knows how difficult that is. And when you have a board member, board members are great at the board meeting, but once they get outside of it, well, then they've got their life and their job and everything else coming at them. And that's why everybody always says, why can't I get my board more engaged? Because they're not paid. They're volunteers. They're going to be there for a short period of time. And unless you specifically give them a task in a way that's digestible and integratable into their daily life, they're not going to do it.
If you give them exactly what to say and exactly what to do, which might seem uncomfortable for some folks, but it works very, very well if we give them the tools that they need. I love that.
You could. So let me give you one more example.
Yeah,
I said
please.
make 3 phone calls a day. Well, while you're sitting in, let's say that you got a study period, and I'm making this up. I don't even know if they still have study hall. I don't even know.
You're riffing.
So we're sitting here talking about it. I'm doing it. How many text messages could you send while you're sitting there? Between getting on to Johnny for throwing erasers or something like that, how much can you do? Okay, well, you could sit there and send 3 a day. Believe it or not, that kind of stuff adds up. It's consistent effort over time. And that's where this whole thing at the year end gets really good, because any effort will bring rewards during this really highly, it is the giving season. It is the holiday season, the giving season, the Thanksgiving season, all these things all wrap around Giving Tuesday. It's all predicated around that thought of giving. And so people are in it with their mind. And so whenever we go and say, hey, we're here, this is the work we're doing, people are more inclined to do it. So it's the really fertile time to be doing these things. That's why whenever somebody says, well, we're not doing anything,
we go,
I'm like, oh man, do something. Okay. Something's better than nothing.
Contact messaging. If you're thinking about people, they've done something, if they've given, that could be your, gratitude time, like you said, with sending 3 text messages or what have you. I love that stuff. Tim, I love this, Tim. Thank you. Year-end prep began 10/1. Implementation began 10/20, so October 20th. 15% of donations are made the last 72 hours of the year. So good.
And I want to say something about that. Everybody goes, well, why do they do that? Well, because they're going to give regardless, but they do, I don't believe, and I've talked to a lot of people, I've spent a lot of time interviewing significant donors over the past 20 years and sitting with them and talking to them and doing all, just being around them. And I always ask them, not one time has anybody ever said, I did it because I needed a tax break.
It's not about taxes.
No, that's a benefit. Now,
sure.
And they absolutely want to, people with any kind of means, they want to get it in the rate. They want to get it in.
They're thoughtful about it. Yeah,
they want to get it in so that way they can have it for that taxable year. They want that credit, but that's not the why. That's a benefit for it. So always keep that in mind. But it does come up.
Yeah.
And that's why this is another piece, why this is such a great time to do it, because, somebody's like, look, I got to get this in the radar. I've designated that I'm going to give 10% of my income and I'm going to give it away. And I'm at the year end. I've got another 3%. I've got to find a way to get rid of it. What am I going to do with it? And so, if you're not knocking at the door, they're probably not going to pick up the phone and start cold calling charities to see if they want a donation. I've never met anybody that's done that.
Yep. Hey, I know you're thinking about taxes. It's December 28th. We just wanted to see if you'd be in. Right? But like you said something very interesting. It's like you create that why, right? And so it sounds like y'all are doing it, Tim. That's awesome. I love that. I would love to get into more about our golden ticket model. We're actually we put together a really, really cool end of the year campaign that we're going to get to as well. It's the first time we've ever done it. Sandy, I want to do a call. Is there another pre-submitted question? And we will get to that, Tim. Tim, at any time, we can spend more time with you. You can email me, Trevor at HGA Fundraising, email Jason at HGA Fundraising, and we'll talk to you about the golden ticket for as long as you like. But we are going to drip out some more year-end stuff that we're rolling out that includes.
Yeah, we're going to do it here in just a minute. So we want to don't want to jump on that because we want to get these questions.
I really like this question that came in before we even got on air. Once again, y'all, I love the questions coming in. Thank you so much. And here's another reminder to you all to share your LinkedIn profile with each other so you all can connect with each other. You don't have to talk about how great the webinars are, but you can talk about fundraising together and connect. There needs to be more collaboration, what's working. I love Tim's stuff about, the last 72 hours, things like that. You'll need to have those conversations with each other. So here's a nudge to do that if you're not already doing that. And if you haven't already put in your LinkedIn profile in the chat, please do. Lori, great question. Thank you, Lori. We send our donors a thank you letter for their tax receipt. It is lengthy, it's too wordy, and I am sure no one reads the whole thing. Any suggestions to make it more impactful? We do send handwritten thank yous to first-time donors and sponsors in addition to the tax receipt letter. Awesome.
Lori, I'm so glad that you said this. So let me tell you something that's interesting. That's actually not true. Surprisingly, people, when they start reading it, they read the entire thing. And what we found, we did a study on this about 4 years ago. A friend of mine put this together and they studied the results and they found out that the majority of people that received it, the people that were in the philanthropy mind, I'm talking about people that opened it up and actually took it out.
They've
read
already
the
given,
thing read all of it because it was something that they could do. And I know this goes back to the whole thing of we're in a really unique time because we've got people that have been, that are in their 70s and 80s that really like to see all that kind of stuff here, and giving people that maybe my generation that's kind of in between. And then you got the youngsters out there, the 30s and below, that they don't even know what piece of paper is. So, but it's what we find is they do read this information. They do look at it. And what they're looking for is the impact. Tell me the details. We made this improvement. We did this. These are things. This can't be a negative thing. It can't be, oh gosh, if we don't get it, if we don't have anything, we're going to close the doors forever. That's not what this is. This is a time to celebrate and tell the good things. Even if you may be in that situation, you still got to talk about positive things, because people want to donate and they want to give into things that they want to be a part of a winner. But it is surprising to me that when the longer, the more detailed the information it is, the response to the giving is significantly more, because people feel like you're being transparent. You're opening it up and you're sharing these things.
Yeah.
We had 2 new people that we've come on staff that are now providing services that we've never been able to have before. And because of that, we were able to provide services to an extra 100 people.
Love that.
This is what we're looking for in 2026. We're looking to add another 2 people that we can do another, because the need is there. These are things that they see this and they go, okay, this is something good. I believe in this. I think looks like they're doing good work.
I love
so
it.
It's surprising. That was always my assumption until the study came back, because I was thinking, well, nobody's going to read this stuff anyway. No, they do.
Can I, we'll put on our marketing cap and just talk about just the differentiation piece as well. It's like, hey, I know it's going to sound really, really simple, but what the outside of the envelope looks like, adding images to the, the body or of the content itself, showing folks imagery, and, just being different with regard to, I don't know, making it more colorful, make it branded. Maybe it's an opportunity to I love this, as a matter of fact, but I'm not trying to color outside the lines too much. Maybe it's an opportunity to show folks that you have a new monthly giving campaign as well. And they're not used to seeing that. They go, oh my gosh, monthly, this is really, really cool. And just being thoughtful and deliberate with what you're, with the messaging. So I'm glad you uncovered that. I do remember that study, as a matter of fact. I think it's cool. Sam, do you have any other questions? And this is a call for more questions from folks as well.
Hey, I want to get back on Kristen, something she said. She goes, well, I knew that was coming. Whenever I said about not having the year-end campaign and we don't have anything to do, that's exactly the story that you want to tell. That's why you want to tell it. I think that's
we're trying to get this thing off the ground. Yeah.
Because now you can say, for the last 9 years, our fundraising efforts have been concentrated into a national nonprofit for research. Now we're able to do things in a local manner that we're going to drive for our local community. And these same efforts, instead of it all going in from a national and being distributed out in a nationwide deal, is going to be concentrated right here. Now, I don't know. I'm making this part up.
No, but this is a really good point.
But this is a story to tell. This is a wonderful time to tell that story.
And why you're doing this.
We've been doing this for 9 years. Now we're putting all of our effort into our own nonprofit, celebrating this. Come be a part of what we're doing here. We've matured. We've grown up. We've left the fold, and we're starting out to do our community. This is one thing where I think is very important. People love to donate into their own community, and they like to know the impact it's having in their community. Where they live, what's going on with that. Doesn't mean that the people that do national things don't have an opportunity here, but if you are working within a community, it's very important to do that, to talk about where these donors are.
I love it. That's a great point. And Kristen, you're really, really great at explaining what y'all are doing. Just from seeing what's been happening with the last few weeks, and the engagement that we've had with you in the chat and questions and all these things. Absolutely. That's a great encouragement, Jay. And you just said transparent. You're telling a story, and it's real. It's your story. Do you know what I mean? So absolutely share it. That's what's going on. Love it. Love it. Hillary, we host an event every year. Thanks so much for submitting a question, first and foremost. And thanks, Sandy, for popping it up there. We host an event every year, Christmas in the Kitchen. Until last year, this event had been more of a friend-raising event rather than a fundraiser. Last year, we finally added a component, a fund a need, awesome, showing a picture of a wish child in hopes of funding their wish. We also have a Tito's toss and a silent auction. Fun. In the past, we have decorated a tree with ornaments that have dollar designations. Love it. Still, as this is a hotel opening its commercial kitchen for guests, it is a foodie event and it is hard to get everyone's attention. What other ideas might you have for fundraising?
Okay, I got a couple of things real quick. Number
I
one,
love it.
you've got to be able, it is hard to get their attention sometimes when everybody's moving around, talking, it's all this stuff. One is I call it the NFL. There's a reason that you go to a cheering stadium, but they still hear all the announcements because it's a matter of volume. So make sure that you've got a great sound system and you don't have somebody trying to stand on a milk crate and just holler, because it doesn't work. It just sounds like you're screaming at everybody. One of the things too is sound systems sound great when the room's empty and you go, wow, that's a great sound system. But whenever you fill it up with 300 people, it sounds a little different. It doesn't have the power. So that's really one way that you can get their attention, is just to be able to get enough volume to get over the top of them. And that's nothing investment. I mean, there's an investment to it, but you don't have to have a full on deal, but just make sure you have an adequate sound system so you can talk to people. Mm-hmm. Then you need to be able to ask them for money 3 to 4 times, give people 3 to 4 different ways that they can participate at all levels. But here's the thing. If you ask everybody to give at a very small level, and Trevor did a podcast with a guy the other day and they were talking about it. If you nickel and dime everybody, that's all you're going to get is nickels and dimes. Mm-hmm. But if you give an opportunity to do a significant gift at all levels, so that way we have that ability. So the person that can, only is going to be able to give $50 or something like that, they can do that. The person that can give at that $250 level, they can do that. And the person that can do the $2,500 above level, they can do that as well. Mm-hmm. So those are ways that you can do, is to, you only need to ask people money for about 4 times is the max. Yep. Maybe 5, it depends on the crowd, but something like this, maybe it's just 3. Yeah. And so we give 3 ways, 3 opportunities, and you tie everything back to the mission. Everything's got to be to the mission. Mm-hmm. Ladies and gentlemen, there's 3 ways that you can help us tonight. One is go buy this ticket for this golden ticket raffle, because we're going to raise $10,000 with it, and that $10,000 is going to be able to do X. The second thing is we have this a wine toss, whatever you can call it, a game or something, and for this is going to be, it's $50 to participate, and we're going to raise $5,000, and we're going to do this. And the second thing is the fund a need. And this is where we're really looking to make a difference, because we know that so many of you can, we know that so many of you care, and we want you to do this to a significant gift. We're going to ask you for money. Yep. Something like that, and prepare people for what's coming. Let them know, because if you don't tell them, they're not going to tell them, you know?
Yeah. Hey, Hillary, are you here? That was a really, really great question. It sounds like a really, really cool event. I had a couple ideas. Hey, speaking of, you have the Fund a Need. We're going to have a Fund a Need episode for beginners, intermediate, and advanced. We're going to have a Fund a Need paddle raise expert, one of the most brilliant fundraisers that we've ever met at the Fund a Need portion.
Who's that?
That's Chris Hensley.
Oh, Chris.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about me. No, I'm just kidding.
We talk about you a lot, man. Come on, bro. Yeah. Come on. When you're here, when you're not here. No, Chris is brilliant, and he's coming on next week. We'll be able to actually, Sandy will tease that episode registration link before we even leave here. Once again, Hillary, if you're here, great. And if not the end of the world. I was going to say, what's the lowest level for your Fund a Need? Let's talk about that. And then maybe there's a way you can twist the dial as well. There's some really, really cool creative ways you can do that. And then tune in definitely next week because you can expand. I'm assuming there's some money left in the room at the Fund a Need level, for instance, at your event. And then also, are you really twisting the dial for such a cool networking friend event at the end of the year? Everyone comes and has a good time. There's a Tito's sauce, all that stuff. Or are you really twisting the dial on the sponsorships and underwriting portion of that event as well? Because there's something there too. No question.
Hey, let's hit that next question that came up about the sending a letter, sending the mail or online campaign.
Yeah, what's best? I don't know who that is. That from you, Sandy, or is it from someone that pre-submitted? What's best, sending a letter in the mail or an online campaign? And I'm assuming, it's from Sandy. Great question, Sandy, our producer, Sandy. What's best, sending a letter in the mail or an online campaign? I haven't.
What do you
answered
think
that.
it is?
It's and.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's both. What do you think?
Well, okay. I think the biggest lift is obviously going to be the physical letter, the mail,
Sure.
because there's a specific cost to it. You're going to have a cost for every envelope, every page, every printing, and the postage that's going to go with it. There's going to be a significant investment to it. Okay.
Yeah.
Let's just say it's $1, and I'm making the numbers up. I don't know. I haven't done a mass mailing in years, so I don't really know anymore.
Yeah.
But you can do that. But let me give you a couple thoughts about ways that you can bring that down. And I do want to touch on that because I think it's very, very important. But so you've got a significant, there's going to be a fiscal cost to it. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But let's just say that you send out 5,000 and they cost you $1 a piece. And like I said, I'm making the numbers up. Maybe it's $1.50, $2. I don't know, but let's just, whatever it is. So let's say you're going to do that. It's going to cost you $5,000. And in the return, you get $50,000. Well, was that investment worth it?
Sure was.
Well, I would say all day long.
Yeah.
If you get $25,000, is it worth it? I would say all day long. Let me ask you, this is where it gets really tricky. Okay.
Yep.
If you only get $10,000, was it worth it? I'm going to say it's going to be yes, because not only, and maybe if you even get $5,000,
that was my follow-up question.
Because here's the deal. You've just marketed out to 5,000 people.
Yep.
Now, we understand that there's a certain percentage of response. I don't know what those numbers are. And so that's probably I'll tell you what we'll do. I bet we can look it up and see, we can get some information because we've got some people that we can pull some information from, and we'll just send it out to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
I'll see if I can find that data and do that, because I know a couple of people to call. But let's just say that you get 10,000, you get 5,000. Okay. But that's $5,000 that you wouldn't have got, even though it was a zero net gain. Okay. However, those people are now become active givers. How many of those are past givers? How many of those are current givers? And this is a relationship tool, because now I've got, let's say 100 people, give you $50. Well, now I've got 100 people. How many of those $50 at the 100 people could I convert to monthly? How many of those could I say thank you to and get them to be 500? How many of those could I, continue to connect with and turned into 5,000? So one of the things that we talk about is flow, people coming in, people seeing. Maybe it's a list that you bought. Maybe it's one that you have. Maybe because there may be somebody on there that they haven't even thought of you in 5 years, but you've got their contact information. You send something out and they get it. And then they come back into the fold, because maybe your follow-up, maybe your gratitude campaign wasn't very good and they hadn't heard from you in a while. Maybe they just weren't giving. Maybe they had a personal thing and, they've lost a job and they've been getting back on their feet and all, went through COVID or something. And now all of a sudden they're back and they're like, yeah, you know what? I do want to give. I know that's a case with a lot of people. I've had conversations with several people who have said, it was really tough. I pretty much, my giving was nothing, and now it's back, and they're giving more now than they ever gave before.
Yeah.
So I'm saying to this, that mail, I think that you cannot underestimate the power of that. Now, let me give you a quick example, and I've got something
I
here.
have a follow-up question for you as well. But
this is an old thing of mine, but you'll see. What if you sent something like this? What if you sent a card,
images, yep,
and you put a QR code on here? I got one here with a QR code somewhere. This is a big one, but this is for one of our deals, but you see a QR code.
Yep.
And somebody can scan it with their phone. Talking about technology. These are cheap to send. You can they're cheap to print, stamp the deal. You can do one picture. Here's the deal. You're in campaign, put a QR code on it, and it goes to one single page. And this is where you can donate, and you have all your information. So all of a sudden you've taken that cost, and so it becomes twofold. The next thing is the online is almost a no-brainer, because if you do have social media, post it.
Yeah.
There is a way that you can boost it in your community. One of the things I hear about nonprofits are like, well, we don't do any advertising. I'm like, why not? Because you can put parameters around it where you only do it in certain zip codes, or you only do it in city limits. Because let's say that this is only the place we do, we work. So you keep all these advertisements in your community, and it's really simple. So anyway, that's just some things to think about.
I love it. No, I love it. It's also interesting. I want to get your take in 2 minutes or less. I want your take on that same illustration that you made, and let's just say you break even, you raise $5,000, but you have 50 givers and 30 of them are new. My mind, my heart, everything goes immediately to, okay, let's pick up the phone and start engaging with those folks. What are you, let's say you get, 60% of the folks that give at the end of the year are new and they gave at the $100 level. What are you telling folks to do? Pick up the phone, engage with them, thank them, all the above. Give folks some things that in 2 minutes or less they can take away with that.
If you got a phone number and you can send them a call or make a call or a text, I would do it.
Yeah.
The thing is that I would follow up with a thank you. They're cheap. Okay. You're talking about another investment, but back to the whole thing, you have 30 people. If you just wrote 3 a day, if you just wrote 3 handwritten thank yous a day, it would take you 10 days to do it.
Yep.
Little card, handwritten, just a little written card with your note on it. Thank you so much for being a part of our year-end campaign.
Yep.
That's the first thing I would do. I mean, I just want to say thank you. Not thank you, here can I have some more money?
Yep.
But thank you.
But if you pick up the phone, you do it and then write a thank you card. Perfect. Love it.
Let's just break that down real quick. And I got 45 seconds left.
Yep.
So let's say that you get 250 responses. Mm-hmm. Well, then you could break it down based on the dollar volume. You take your top 10%, you say you take your top 25 and you make a phone call to them. You take the next ones, you might send them a text message. The ones after that, you write them a letter. I mean, you can do a full on piece.
Yeah.
So that's how that all works. It's not like, this is not something where you have to go and find everybody. It doesn't all have to be the same, but saying thank you.
Yep. Love it. Hey, Lori, great question. Text to give. Jay, do you have any companies you recommend using?
Yeah, well, we have our own text messaging set up. No, we don't, not for resale. There is a company called, well, let me ask you a couple of questions.
Yeah.
One is, if you already have a software set up that you're already using, like for galas and things like that, there's a texting platform that you can use there. Okay. Mm-hmm. You just need to talk to your tap. And so that's going to save you something. Yep. If you want to do more than that, the company Powered by Text they're personal friends of ours.
Yep.
We do business with them. I've done business with the Cantrells for 25 years. Before there was a texting thing, I did business. They're wonderful, wonderful people. And so that's who I would recommend.
Yeah. And then Lori, shoot us a message, shoot us an email, and we can get you their contact info and make the
just look up poweredbytext.com, pull it right up. They're great people.
They're great.
And they've got some kind of plan for everybody.
We are doing, and I feel so bad. I should have done my research. We had a lovely Ask Us Anything episode, and someone talked about using items as incentives for folks to give at the end of the year. Well, we listened to that question and we created our own first ever, and we're dropping it next week, early next week, our first ever end of the year online campaign with HGA. Jay, can you explain a little bit about the mechanics of that?
Yeah. So what this is a very simple, basically it's a raffle. Okay. I'm going to use that for that. That's what we're going to call it. Okay. Because there are some legal things. Y'all figure that out if it's when their deal, but basically it's an opportunity. You send it out. They make a donation. The more they donate, the more chances they get, the more tickets they get in the raffle. It's all electronic. You can do it via email, social media, however you want to set that up. It's all the above. You run it for a specific amount of days. We're calling the 12 days of giving. Okay. So it's tied to the 12 days of giving. You run it for 12 days. You want to run it longer? I don't care. That's up to you. I don't think it matters one way or the other. And that's my personal opinion. Yeah. I think that you could run it for 5 days.
I'm a big fan of that, but yeah.
There's a certain qualification and there's a disclaimer in there that says if it goes over X amount of dollars, that everybody gets it. If it doesn't, and this is to protect you, okay, as the organization, to say if it doesn't, it's just going to be a donation, year-end campaign, thank you. If it does, the more people we get to give, then we're going to give away a trip. And it's one of our trips. It's a great opportunity. It's what the golden ticket or vacation passport, whatever you want to call it. So they get a chance for 4 of them, and you get to make the net out. And the idea is that you can do, get $10, $25, $50,000 in year-end giving. And it's set up, but there's an incentive to it. Because one thing that we've learned is that somebody who may not give you $100, okay, in a campaign, but if they know there's a chance to win something, they'll give you $100.
Yeah.
And it's, you can call it the gambling perk, the game of chance, the deal they might to gamification. But there's a psychological piece to it, and that's what it is.
And
so
we're also standing up some other items as well, some other incentives that folks are going to have the ability to bid on and win as well. So you can obviously profit from that. You can pull data from that as well and use it. Oh, this particular destination, to wherever it might be, Cabo got a ton of bids on our online platform, but it's totally turnkey. It's our HGA end of the year campaign. You can launch it on Giving Tuesday if you like. You can launch it throughout the month of December if you like as well. And we are going to be dripping out that data next week as well as far as how to sign up. It's super, super easy. There's no upfront cost. We are going to make it painless, and you're off and running. So it's another way to be different, to separate yourself from other organizations at the end of the year and to get some additional funds in the door. There's no exposure. And if it works, it works. And if it doesn't, you're protected, as Jason mentioned as well. So,
well, if it doesn't qualify, that way you don't have to worry about that prize not being there. It's very specific, and it's and that way, if you don't raise more than $4,000, it doesn't cost you anything, and it doesn't cost you anything anyway. There's no fees, nothing's tied to it. It's all put on the donor side, and I think this is really cool. It's all put into one. Basically, all the money goes to your account. Okay.
Oh,
this
sure.
isn't going to go anywhere. It's deposited into your account. You're going to give the banking information, your logo, your message. There's like 4 things I think that we need, and it's done and it's set up, and you get a link and you just put it on your email and out it goes.
We give you templates,
social media,
for the
everything.
email.
And it just goes out. Lisa says a question: does winner have to pay taxes? I don't have a clue. I'm not an accountant. I'm not a lawyer, and Lisa, I honestly don't know. So I wouldn't be able to answer that.
Any other questions? And I think we had one more poll question, Sandy. We are going to also put up the text HGA to 73747. It's going to come up here in a second, and we're going to give something away. I
want to say something real quick. This thing that we've done, we put together, the whole point of it was so you didn't have to think about it. Okay. Sure. You didn't have to, the whole reason we did it, because it was one of those things. It was like, how can you not do this? Because for us, we were saying this year-end giving, we're seeing this opportunity, people not doing it because, like they said, they're busy, they're tied up. What could we do that would just make it really simple to do?
Seamless.
And if you raise $2,000 or $3,000, you raise $2,000 or $3,000. If you raise $25, you raise $25. Now, I don't think that's going to happen to anybody, but from just everything else we know about this industry, doing these type of things throughout the year, you're going to probably raise somewhere between, net. We think that the average, this is our first time to do it. It's going to be between $5,000 and $10,000. So if you don't do it, you'll get nothing. If you do it, maybe you get $5,000-$10,000.
Love it. Thanks for putting the poll question up. And
and the other thing is you're going to identify all these donors because the data is yours. So you'll get all the information for those donors. They become new people. So
I think it's a cool test to see what works with your donor group as well. Once again, as you mentioned, the engagement post campaign is great. And
are you interested in HGA helping with your year-end campaign?
That's the poll.
Somebody's got to say yes. Come on.
We are helping right now. We are helping.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody. Text will pop up there one more time as a reminder. Jay, what do you want to give away?
We have a brand new trip. We've got a really cool trip. It's a domestic trip. And it's that we want to do. It's called, what is it called? Best of the U.S. And so there are like 6 destinations that they can choose. And it's a weekend away. And then we're going to give that away. Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. The winner is being chosen, and I'm going to go ahead. The Great American Getaway.
Yeah, Great American Getaway, and it's $1,000 trip. It's for nonprofits. It's $1,000. So you're going to get a trip that's worth $1,000. Nice. It's what it would cost you if you bought it. So hey, we're giving away $1,000 today. Holy smokes!
I love it. Also, one other thing. I told you this. or I mentioned this, everyone that gets a trip, wins a trip at the end of the webinar. A lot of folks that are on here have before as well. Will get a coaching session, a free coaching session with Jason. They're all free, by the way.
Well,
That's it.
Yeah, and let me tell you why we're doing that. Because what we've seen is we want to make sure that you maximize the gift. Because I'm going to give you this is a donation, okay? This is a gift, all right?
Mm-hmm.
So what we want to do though is I want to make sure that you're a good steward with the gift, all right? I don't want you to using this as a doorstop. I want you to go and make some money with this thing, and that's really our whole purpose of this is to do it because that way you maximize that opportunity.
I'm waiting on a winner right now. Any other last minute questions for anyone in the audience? We got a couple more minutes left. Thanks so much, everybody, for tuning in. We appreciate it. As mentioned, Sandy put in the link for next week's episode. It's right there in the chat. We're going to do the Fun and Need paddle raise for, once again, beginners, intermediates, advanced.
I want to say something about this coaching session stuff we talk about because we keep talking about it.
Yeah.
And we've been doing, has anybody had a coaching session with me that's on here today?
I believe so.
The coaching sessions I do are so good. Nobody ever.
Cool.
Oh, Lori. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Steve. Yep. So, okay, let me ask you this. Was it worth it? Was the hour you spent with me, was it good?
Putting people on the spot.
I am totally putting them on the spot.
I love it. Good. Thanks.
Well,
Lori.
I think that's the whole point is, this is not a sales pitch. I don't want everybody to think that because I'm not going to talk. I don't ever talk about it, what we do. But what this is a great opportunity for us, for me, to specifically share. We're in 2,000 events, over 2,000 events in this year. It allows me to share all that experience, all that stuff that comes in that we hear from all over the country and dilute it down and give the most impactful pieces that are going to move the needle for you the most. And that's really what this comes about. It's my favorite thing to do. Okay. My favorite thing to do is to do these sessions because I get to hear about all these wonderful missions and wonderful nonprofits and hopefully share some of this stuff because it takes a little time. And I think a lot of times I say, look, I've got a little dog and pony show I go through, but there's a purpose to it. And so if you ever are trying to figure out how to get everybody to pull in the same way, to get everybody engaged, these sessions really, really go out real well with it. So
it's awesome. It's awesome. Okay. Make sure everybody's got their ringer on. I am going to call a winner for the Great American Getaway. Here I go. Boom, boom, boom. Here I go.
Well, you didn't call me.
This is fun for me. This is my fun. You get to do the coaching sessions.
You like giving stuff away.
Great American Getaway.
Hello?
Hello, who am I speaking with?
This is Jamie.
Hey, Jamie, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing really, really well. Thank you so much. Yeah, just had a great webinar. Thanks so much for coming. And you are the winner of the Great American Getaway. And you also,
oh my goodness.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. Thanks, Jamie. Appreciate it. Yeah,
I think we're going to call somebody one time and go, "Nah, you didn't win anything."
Appreciate you coming. Thanks so much. I hope it was impactful, and we hope that you can join us next week as well.
That's amazing. I plan on it.
All right, Jamie. We'll be in touch. You won the Great American Getaway. Oh, it's a new awesome domestic item that we have. And Jason will schedule a coaching call with you as well. Okay.
Sounds amazing. Thank you for all you do.
I appreciate you. I appreciate you, Jamie. Thanks so much. Have a great afternoon. All right.
You too.
Cool. All right. Cool. Well, Jamie from the Kimball Arts Center, far out. Congratulations. You rock. Hey man, you rock. Thanks a lot. Sandy, you rock. C. Diggity, you rock. Everyone that was here and submitted questions, thanks so much. Appreciate you all. Can't wait. I was
trying to see if I got the little bubble thing. I guess it doesn't work on this thing.
On Riverside, I guess. I don't know.
It doesn't work on Riverside.
Hey, everybody, thanks so much for tuning in. Everybody stayed to the end. Thank you so much for doing that. I hope this was impactful. We get a lot of joy out of it. And do us a favor, share it with someone in your network, and we'll see you all next Thursday. Brother, thank you so much. That was
my
awesome.
pleasure. Love this stuff. Hey, and I'm going to find those. I'm going to find those statistics, and we'll send that with the message tomorrow, the recording.
Cool. All right. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate you. Thanks, Lisa. Thanks, Jamie. Thanks, Lori. Talk to you all soon. All right. Have a great afternoon.
Adios.